What up, though?
Welcome to Nerds in the Dark. I'm Mikey.
I'm Darnel. Nice to meet you guys.
And today we're here to talk about Jessica Jones.
Pretty solid.
I really like the series. I was a really big fan of the first one because I am a really big David Tennant fan. And I really like Jessica Jones' character arcs in the comics. So I was a really big fan. Coming into season 2, I didn't know what to expect though. I didn't know like where they were gonna go. So I was pretty excited. What about you?
I was pretty excited, but like, I was a little bit let down.
Ooh, okay. Let's go into that. What did you feel let down about?
Like, okay, so like, I feel the side characters a little like sloppily written.
I do know what you're talking about. I wrote you that.
Yes.
Like we watched the series. This is Sunday, and the series just started on Thursday. Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
Friday or Thursday, yeah. And so we were texting back and forth as we were watching it, different shit. And we definitely mentioned that the character writing for the secondary characters, their arcs were weak. So the secondary characters this season, obviously spoilers. I know this is new, but like spoiler warning, it's gonna appear right there. So it's Jerry's dying. Trish is on drugs. Malcolm is finding his way, whatever that. I don't know what the fuck's going on with Malcolm. And like,
I kind of like that part, but all the other shit.
Yeah,
was like,
and so it's like different things. Like Trish is on drugs, but first she was like really happy and about to be married, but like doesn't work out, and she ends up
being a fucking druggie and obsessed about random bullshit.
Yeah, and then like fucking with Malcolm first, like it was garbage. It was shitty writing and a lot of points. There were some good points in some of the secondary arcs.
A little bit.
So, without like skipping too far ahead, Jerry and her revenge.
Oh, that revenge was.
Her revenge was so fucking on point. We'll talk about that as we like work through the season. So let's go to episode 1. Episode 1, what'd you think?
I thought it was pretty decent. Like, I liked it, but I thought that fucking anger management thing was kind of bullshit because I feel like she was justified.
So, like her beating up Price.
Yeah.
You thought that was justified and she didn't deserve anger management.
Yeah, they could have written that way better for her. Like, because granted he baited her. But she said like, hey, I'm leaving, and then he stood in her way, and then she beat that ass. And it's like, if you stand in my way, I have all right to beat your ass.
So I agree, and like, I agree and disagree. So there's a lot of points in Jessica's career where people have approached her and been like, you know, I'm sticking in your way. She's like, get the fuck out of my way. And so all she does, like, she just throws them out of her way. And that's it. That's the end of it. But with Price, she not only throws him out of the way, but like, she starts beating him as he continues to talk more shit. And she's like, at some point, she's standing over him like, fucking, I'm gonna fucking murder you. And he's just like, see? I think you would kill him, bitch. And it's just like, yeah, he talks some mad shit. Like, he talks mad shit.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm like, see, if he had just kept his fucking mouth shut,
but
maybe.
Like, that was,
like, he kept like talking shit.
That was
like,
kind of his point, right? Like, that was his point. Like, he tried to bait her.
Yeah, like, that's how I said, like, yeah, he baited her, but like, from like a cardinal perspective, I'm thinking like, well, see, if this motherfucker just kept his fucking mouth shut, like, I would have had to keep beating his fucking ass. Like, I would have walked the fuck off, but he kept wanting to fucking like talk some shit. Like, you know what? You want to talk some shit?
Okay.
I got your shit right here, homie. Have it.
So, the arrest leads to us finding out about Griffin, who is Trish's new boyfriend, who is apparently amazing. He's just
Yeah, super badass motherfucker who's like super cool and
he's just a genuinely good guy who gets a short end of the stick. I don't think that there's anything really wrong with him. Like, I think there's a part where they tried to lead us astray and be like, he's kind of shady, he's doing shady shit, and it turned out that like he did hack her computer, but to find her contacts to plan a secret engagement.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, I'm gonna surprise her by popping down on one knee. So I needed to find out where to contact her mother and shit to find out to make sure she was there. It's kind of like, it's like, yeah, you did something that was shady, but you kind of did a good thing, I guess.
Yeah, it was just
no judgment. No judgment. That's the.
It was shady for like a good reason. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that counts. Yeah. Like, oh, surprise birthday. So I like look at their phone to figure out when the fuck, like, you know, like, hey, let me call all your family and friends for your fucking birthday.
And throw a surprise party. Yeah.
So like, I give it a pass on like some shady shit.
Yeah, and then so Trish jumps him, of course.
Yeah.
Because she's self-destructive.
Yeah.
She's a terrible person. Speaking of terrible, like almost everybody in this series is a terrible person.
Yeah. Well, like
so it's one of the I have this disconnect with the series a little bit in that, you know, Bendis writes this stuff that's like extremely real, right? He writes what he knows, and he writes stuff about people that they're deeper characters, right? So like everybody's got layers to them, and everybody's got their own issues. But it seems like in this series, everyone's an asshole.
True.
Like, they're chocolate-covered bastards with bastard cream filling.
I would agree. Yes.
And it's just weird, because I'm not used to a show where just like everybody sucks, except for like Game of Thrones, maybe.
Yeah.
But even even they've got John.
Yeah. Well, at least they have like layers to their fucking dickery.
Yeah.
And like it kind of didn't feel like it was layers to the dickery.
Yeah. Some of the shit's like really shallow.
Flat out, like I'm a kind of a dick.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I want to get laid too at the same time.
Yeah. So looking at some of like the shitty characters in this, so we have like Trish's mom, who is she's a wonderful character if I've ever seen one. She's just like, I'm gonna pimp out my daughter. That's her whole shtick, is pimping out her daughter.
So you expect that from her, so.
Right. And then you have Max, who is like the creepy director dude, which I feel that was just in there just because everything going on with like the whole movement against Hollywood and all that. I feel like they just tossed it in there as like, here's extra shit. Because I don't know, I just feel like we didn't need more reasons to feel bad for Trish. Like, we already had enough.
Exactly. Trish's mom is enough reason. Like, okay, Trish had a shitty upbringing because her mom's a fucking cunt.
It was bad enough that she was abused. I don't think
you didn't really need to bring like outside sources to realize that Trish had a fucking shitty upbringing.
Yeah. And then we had so we have Jerry's partners.
Jerry's partners.
Yeah, Chow and Benowitz. Chow she was a straight up bitch. Straight up.
Yeah, like she was like pretty much ruthless.
Yeah. And then Benowitz seemed like he was like a kind of an okay guy, but he was just like Chow like running shit, so like Jerry just kind of.
I kind of felt like Benowitz was on it, but at the same time, you know, he had some dirty fucking secrets. So he's like, you know what, I'm a runner with you. I just hope at the same time, I'm hoping that nothing that my skeletons pop out the closet.
Yeah. So then we have the main story arc. So the main story arc involves IGH. So kind of like picking up where we left off. There's music playing in the background, and Darnell's kind of feeling it.
I'm drunk.
And it's not going to be the music you hear on this. Like, when I edit in music later, it's not going to be this music. But it might be, you know, fucking turn down for what? You know, whatever. So the main story follows the investigation at IGH, where we meet Wizard, who
turned out to be
legit. Like, Wizard was legit. He actually had the powers, and that was a good nod back to the Marvel Universe because Wizard's a character.
bullshit, you know.
Yeah.
I just like the fact that like, oh, he's not some batshit crazy motherfucker.
Yeah.
And like Jessica Jones should have fucking like actually listened to the motherfucker. This is not mysterious to the whole like, oh, like magic isn't real bullshit.
Yeah.
Trope. I'm like, maybe we should take this later. Like,
Yeah.
hey, they should scare him and see how fast he runs.
So here's something I don't like. So Jessica Jones takes place in the MCU.
Yes.
Right? And so this is, I don't know where it fits in a timeline, but it's definitely post-Civil War.
Yes.
Because they talked about the Raft.
Yes.
So it's post-registration, it's post-Defenders, it's post, like, all the, like, so she knows that there's, like mystical ninjas, there's other people with powers, there's a superhero prison which is designed for the multitude of super people that fucking exist. And when this guy's like, yeah, I run really fast, and she's just like, yeah, sure, prove it. And he's just like, it only works when I'm afraid. And she's just like, fuck you, get the fuck out of here, I don't believe you.
Exactly, but like also at the same time, like that's what they have in the season 1 was like, when she met Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't believe he was moving, but tell like, oh, this motherfucker just got shot with a fucking shotgun, and it did not face this bitch.
I mean,
like, it's
they
keep
weird.
falling back on that stupid trope for no reason.
It's weird that she's just like, I'm a powered person in a powered world, yet when somebody tells me they have powers, I don't believe it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a shitty thing. It's kind of shitty writing too. So we follow IGH. We start finding out that people are disappearing. Dr. Kozlov is dead. And then we have Simpson, who apparently has been following Trish, but not in a stalkerish way. He's been protecting her.
Well, it's still stalkerish, but stalkerish in a good way.
Yeah, stalkerish in a good way. He's trying to make sure she stays alive and doesn't die as a result of what's happening with IGH. So then he dies, like a little bitch, which is just, I find a problem with. So I had this problem with him being in the first season, in that he's not a Jessica Jones character. He is more of a Captain America / Wolverine character. Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, so his whole thing is he's basically someone else trying to do Captain America.
Okay. Yeah.
So they have the, like, he's got red pills and he's got blue pills, and he's like, give me a red, and that's what gives him the powers. It also makes him kind of crazy. So he needs the blue pills to chill out. And so when he takes too many red pills, he gets he gets really beefy and he gets real powered, but he also goes fucking cuckoo.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. So if you've ever seen him in the comics, I'll show him to you later. But he's got this American flag tattooed on his face.
That guy.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he's a fucking nutcase.
I've seen the comics, I didn't know who the dude's name. I just seen the comic with some flag on it.
Yeah. So, his entire existence in the MCU has been inside of Jessica Jones, and he lived and died there. And for him to be the kind of person that really wreaks the havoc that he does in the comics, it's really weird to see him in that, because he doesn't really do much. Like, altogether, I mean, all he did was harass Jessica Jones and Trish.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to, like, I'm gonna protect you, Trish, and he gets shot in the fucking leg, and then he fucking gets his neck twisted, and that's it. That's the tragic end of Simpson.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's kind of fucking
weird.
Especially for some military combat guy.
Yeah.
It'd be different if he didn't have any background and he was just some amped up motherfucker doing shit. Or the fact that he was like, he had military combat, and then okay, first fight you see him in the season 2 with all all amped up, and just like, oh cool, neck break, done, I'm out.
And so he had this inhaler with him, which is what Trish steals.
Yeah.
And then she ends up becoming a little super herself.
Yeah.
But starts having extreme withdrawal. So she becomes another addict again. So that drives her secondary plot line. and she tries to drag Malcolm into it, who is a recovering addict, which is just shitty. That's just
shitty move.
But it also comes to one of the next points of something that I kind of really hated in this series, was that anytime someone's feeling down in this series, they just need a dick in them.
Yeah.
I don't get that. I mean, and by dick, I don't mean like fucking literal dick, although I could. It's kind of figurative too.
I'm thinking literal dick.
Well, you're thinking literally, but I'm also talking about Jerry, because Jerry does the same thing.
Yeah.
So Jerry Hogarth's a lesbian, but she is definitely like I need to eat someone out right now. Like this, like
that box looks tasty.
Like, does all of your problems just disappear with sex? Is that like a normal thing, or is this just kind of like Hollywood writing kind of thing? Because it doesn't seem right. Like it just like there's so many.
It seems really weak writing because like in real life, like you're down and like if somebody's there, I understand though. Like, okay, cool. I'm fucking feeling emotional. I'm gonna fucking bang. But it's like in real life, not all the time. Whenever you're feeling like a piece of shit, is there somebody gonna fucking be there for you to fucking bang? But every single time they have some shitty situation, somebody just ready there like, do me, baby.
Yeah, it's
like,
really
what the.
And it's weak writing, and then it, like, what I hate more than it is that it involves Malcolm now, and so Malcolm is the target of Trish's release, and so she goes to him not once but multiple times to relieve her stress, and she tries to bring him down the addict's like path again.
Yeah.
And
he steps a little bit.
He does.
He falls back and like, nah, fuck him out.
Yeah. So, the storyline progresses further, and then we find out that the killer is some rando lady wearing a wig who has like no hair, and she's with Dr. Carl. Carl, who has the last name I can't remember, so he's just Dr. K right now.
Yeah.
So Dr. K is with Alyssa. And we find out that Alyssa is actually Alyssa Jones, who is Jessica Jones' mother. Big twist. Which I thought was weird, but I mean, whatever, right? So it's two superpowered women, and she's apparently stronger than Jessica, which is also weird. It's also weird that we don't know what Jessica's strength is and where her limits are. And it's the same thing with her mom. So we know that she can partially lift a car, and we know that she can punch through walls, and we know that she can kind of stop a car, but she can bend things really easily too, and she can jump far, and she's supposed to be able to fly, but we haven't seen her do that in the show.
I didn't realize she could fly. I think I just assumed she was like a fucking like, semi-hulkish thing. Like,
so
like strength, can jump really far. It might look like flying to like a quick passerby, but at the same time she just jumps and just falls with grace. So
she doesn't display her powers a lot, which is pretty much on par with how Alias Comics works. She's a very noirish kind of like PI, and she relies on her power to get her out of tough situations, but doesn't use it in the day by day. And so, the actual storyline is that she, in the comics, she could fly and was strong to, semi-invulnerable. She couldn't take bullets.
Yeah.
And so she was like, I'm going to try the whole hero thing, and I'm going to be really cool. And one of the first people she finds that's a villain is Kilgrave. So that ends pretty much about as well as you'd think it would. Which is why she got her harsh outer shell, because Kilgrave made her do horrible shit.
But also with this new season is also slightly because she watched it, found her fucking boyfriend that she loved, neck snapped.
Yeah, and so that's other shit that's kind of confusing to me. So the writing in this show seems to go back and forth as to what drives Jessica Jones and where she's at mentally. So we look at her as this person. If we follow her start to finish, right? In season 1, we know that her parents died, and that we don't know what happened except that she was kind of in the same boat as Trish as they were being raised together, and she was just like, I'm not gonna be in front of families. You can't fucking force me because I'm super strong. So that ended up working out, but then like Kilgrave happened. So as we go further into Jessica's past, we see the
yes, I'm strong wandering thing.
Okay, cool. So as we go further into Jessica's past, we notice that she has a troubled history in her college time. So college time, which for us, this is supposed to be 12 years ago. So this is 2002. Because the whole thing, so her accident was 17 years ago. If this is set in the present, her accident was 17 years ago. And the bit that we have of her college years is 12 years ago. And that's where Trish released a new single called I Want Your Cray Cray.
Yeah, fuck. Sounds weird.
Yeah.
22 hours. It was Cray Cray a thing?
2002.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 2002 is where this is set place.
Okay.
So 2002, she's in college. She seems to be exactly the same person and drinking almost exactly the same because she has to. Jessica.
No,
Jessica's
like she's drinking, but she's not.
She's an introvert. She's drinking.
Yeah, but she's not like just slamming like bottles. She's having a drink.
Not as bad, but she is. So she is drinking.
She drinks, but she's just having.
She hooks up with this bartender after a strung out Trish calls her a freeloader.
Yeah. Which is weird.
And this bartender, who is also not a good person, you can just tell he's not a good person, but whatever. She falls in love with him, and she's just like, we're gonna build a life together. Although you still see parts of the same Jessica there. Dark sense of humor, regressed, introvert, doesn't hang out with people, but somehow she loves this guy.
Yeah.
And I find it weird that she's the same person despite no Kilgrave. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, I mean, a lot of what they do that says, like, what makes Jessica Jessica is everything that happened with Kilgrave. And so when you do that kind of thing and you look into the past and you just start adding more shit to the character that says, yeah, this also made her made her be how she is, it's fucking weird. But whatever. So, more tragedy in her life. And it turns out,
I feel like she should have been more cheery with the fucking boy toy bartender thing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just like...
She immediately...
She just still like moody-ish.
Yeah, when she introduced her boyfriend to Trish, and then her boyfriend started like hitting her up like right away for an investment, she immediately caught what it was and was just like, nah, fuck it, we're out. And it was just like, that cynical nature right there, that's Jessica Jones. And if you're telling me this is before all of the tragedy, then I'm not really sure that that's true. You know what I mean? It just doesn't feel right to me. So anyway, we find out that her boyfriend was killed by Alyssa in the past. And so we find out that Alyssa has been driven crazy by having repeated nightmares where she's screaming, "Where's Jessica?" all night, having night terrors. And that's why she's not mentally stable anymore, because she spent 17 years wondering, where the fuck's my daughter? And then not being able to see her and realizing that if she gets angry, she just fucking murders things.
Yeah. Granted, is murdering things for good reasons, but like she's still fucking snapping necks.
Yeah. I don't know if it was necessarily good reasons. Like when she kills Price's boy.
Yeah, but she's protecting her kid, so like there was a good reason behind it. It's just she went about it the wrong fucking way. Like,
I mean, all she had to do was take the shit back.
True. But like, she went through extreme measures.
But see, this is
if you're dead, you can't fucking snitch.
This is where I disagree, right? So if she wasn't like premeditating, well, she didn't premeditate that murder, but she went there to take that shit. I feel like she wasn't watching Jessica's place. I feel like she went there to take that shit, and when that guy took that shit, she used the excuse that like, oh, this hurts my daughter, but like she still took everything, she still burned everything. It was all because of the investigation in the IGH that she was there in the first place. Don't get it twisted. This mother don't care.
True, because like you never see like her like scoping out the place. You just see her drop down and just beat the shit out of somebody in a fucking van. So it's like there's a little premise of like her peeping the motherfucker like place like, okay, I'm watching over you, making sure nobody fucks with your ass.
Yeah, and that shit doesn't.
But it's just all like, oh,
and
I
like
have to show up when somebody else is already doing some shady shit.
Yeah, she was. Like, how did she not get involved with Kilgrave?
Yeah, true. Like, she's peeping for that fucking long. Like, she gets dipped out anytime she wants to.
Like 2 years, her daughter was missing. Ain't no peeps.
Exactly. Motherfucker, manipulate my fucking kid. Oh, I don't like kids.
Man, fuck this mom. Fuck this mom. Fuck this mom.
I'm gonna fucking break some fucking necks.
Alright. So, progressing further down the story, there is there's the person that they capture / help, Nurse Inez, who gets us closer to finding out who Alyssa is. She hooks up with Jerry, both in the literal and figurative sense, like in the biblical sense. That's there. So anyway, we have that story arc where I saw that was a scam coming like a mile away. So Jerry's diagnosed with ALS and she's told that she's going to die. So she's in a vulnerable position in which the nurse is going to rob her. She's homeless. She's going to rob her, but then comes back and says, oh, I know a person who can heal. And it's just like, well, isn't this shady? Isn't this fucking shady?
It is convenient.
Yeah. So then she meets the person, and the person's just like, he pretty much describes the ALS 100%. And she's just like, oh, I got chills. So she goes to get the guy out. And the guy, you know, they sit there, and for some reason, she gets naked, sits in bed. And it's fucking weird because, like, it's people with powers, right? In the MCU. And anytime someone uses powers, man, shit happens, man. Marvel doesn't like to waste money, or they don't like to save money on graphics and effects. So, why didn't we see, like, his hands glue or some shit like that?
Yeah.
It was fucking weird. Like, why wouldn't it happen? We know what's happening. It's a fucking scam. You know, and she's like, you know, the fucking nurse is in the background. She's like, did you feel anything? And she starts crying, and it's because, like, of course, she felt something because she wanted to feel something. You know, and then Jessica meets them, and they're just chilling. They're just chilling in her place, just fucking all dandy. Of course they were gonna fucking get robbed.
I kind of felt that he had powers, but like not powers to the extent that he said he had them.
Like, I thought he was a scam artist from the start. I
knew he was a scam artist, but like
I was like, this
not like how like she was playing up pure. I feel like he just had the ability to like downplay shit. Like, I'm gonna let you live, I'll give you a few more years to live, but like you're not gonna live another 30 years. You got 5 years left. I gave you an extra 5 years. That's all you got, homie. Yeah. And then I was like, he ain't give her shit.
Yeah, no.
I was like, that's fucked up.
Shit. So then we find out she gets robbed, and we are reintroduced to one of my favorite characters in the Netflix Marvel series, King of the Cameo.
Kilgrave?
No. The character who gives her the gun.
Oh, forgot his name. Oh yeah, I like him because
he's in every single one, and he's always like either getting in shit or in some shady shit. Yeah, and I like him. And so she's like, cash or trade, and he's like, trade. I feel like I'm gonna need you again someday.
Exactly. He's like, I got you. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
She's gonna come back at
So Jerry tracks down her stolen merchandise. She pays for not only all of her stuff, but information. So she finds out where they're located. She then purchases the gun, unmarked, untraceable, and then she meets up with the nurse and enacts her plan of revenge. I thought she was gonna get her hands dirty and actually shoot some motherfuckers. Because of course, she's gonna get Trinity in this bitch.
Yeah.
But no, Jerry does not get Trinity in this bitch. What she does is even better. Yeah. She grabs Nurse Bitch, Inez, and says, now bitch, listen here. And I thought,
fuck against somebody else the dick.
Yeah.
You need to handle your shit.
She's like, okay, listen, you robbed me, but like your man is robbing you. Now, this motherfucker, he was messaging this motherfucker, like this bitch and that bitch, and they're all sending money. And listen, we weren't just talking about cookies. We're sending them real money. Now, what's gonna happen when he don't want you? And she was like,
you on some bullshit. And he's like,
at first she was
I got
no.
proof right here in the back
And he's
seat.
like, look, like you can read this shit if you want. Like, this is some pretty nasty shit. I wouldn't recommend it. And she's like, what you gonna do about it? And she's like, I ain't gonna let this motherfucker get away. I'm gonna do some shit. And she's like, I got you. But listen, this motherfucker's dangerous. Why don't you take this? And she hands her the gun. Well, she didn't hand her, it was in the glove box. But she gives her the gun. And, Nurse Lady walks into the bitch, has an argument, and she shoots her own boyfriend.
Yeah, pow!
Yeah,
Ooh.
and so she's sitting there, she's crying, you see in the background, and then Jerry just straight up like a pimp. She's just like,
I witnessed a crime.
Yeah.
Come get this bitch.
She's like, I just witnessed a murder. And it was just like, boom! Sirens. Woo! Yeah. That was good revenge. That was good revenge.
That's a pretty solid fucking thing. I'm like,
yeah.
You know that smooth talking motherfucker was like trying to talk his way out of it, but it's like, she said you would say that shit.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the main plot. So Jessica Jones finds out there's her mom. And so they have all this kind of will they, won't they kind of shit where they go back and forth. It honestly felt a lot like the Kilgrave plotline where she's just like, can I make Kilgrave into a decent person? And it's just like, no, don't fucking worry. Like, he's murdered tons of people and he's raped tons of people. But, like, your mom did the same thing and you're just like, I guess I'm just going to try and save my mom too because that worked out so well in the past.
Granted, it's your mama, but at the same time, like, fuck that motherfucker.
Right. So then we enter into what I think is going to be the most controversial part of this series, this season. So, the mom gets arrested, and rather than go to the raft, she's going to be staying in a regular prison as long as she follows the rules, and she'll be able to get visitations. And so, you have this lead prison guard who then has this power trip and starts to torture her. And that was really fucked up. Yeah. But Jessica finds out about this. And she decides she's going to do something about it. And so it starts out with her doing her normal PI stuff. She's like sneaking around, getting into the guy's place, trying to find out shit. And so it finds out that apparently he's a murderer. And he's been basically going from prison to prison until he gets himself fired for being too involved, or involved in too many.
He has stuff transferred. Not saying he murdered, fired, but like, he gets stuff transferred for like, okay, cool. You got too many cases on you, motherfucker.
Yeah, so
you
basically a bunch of inmates around him were committing suicide. And so Jessica Jones finds out he really was a killer because he had a bunch of trophies hidden. Where basically all the inmate numbers were hidden inside of one of his trophies. So after she's looked through all that shit, she turns around. The guard's actually there because she tripped a stupid alarm because this is her first day as a PI. So he maces her in the face and just starts beating her on the ground. And he's shouting and he's yelling, self-defense, self-defense. He goes, you came into my home, you threatened me, you threatened my life, it's a self-defense. He's shouting as he's saying that, he's basically saying he's gonna kill her.
Yeah.
And so he's swinging a nightstick at her. She can't see, and she's reaching around. Finally, she grabs the nightstick and she rips it out of his hand and she cracks one. she hit him hard enough that it murdered him, like he died.
Yep. That's wide open.
And so, this is really weird for me. I'm a fan of Jessica Jones, and I'm a fan of how her character is and how she is. Like, she's extremely troubled, and she's done a lot of fucked up things in her life. But one of the things with her is that, like, she's got a lot of her own faults, but the most horrific things she's done, the most horrific things she's done weren't really her fault.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she murdered people, like she participated in rapes and murders under Kilgrave.
Yeah.
And so she kills this guard. And so she has this internal struggle as she's trying to decide what to do. And, you know, should I just call the cops? Should I, like, and it's all really great because it kind of has this whole thing of, like, you know, the real panic that sets in when you fucked up.
Yeah.
You fucked up. Like, she shouldn't have been in that house. But she was, and she fucked up. So she then proceeds to cover it up, making this a murder. That's the difference between, like, justifiable homicide and murder.
Yeah.
So, what you do after. So she covers it up, makes it look like a suicide. And the struggle is so powerful with her that it creates a schism in her mind. And it's actually my favorite part too. So I'm really upset that it went so far against her character, but I'm really happy about what happened afterwards, because that schism in her mind created, like, memories and illusions of Kilgrave, where he's talking to her as himself, and she's having conversations back with him.
Yeah.
And that internal struggle is so good, and David Tennant just fucking kills it. But I love, like, this is where some of the writing really shines in this series, and this season in particular, because it's really, like, there's really good parts. Like, when she yells at him and he goes, "Hey, I'm just a thought."
Yes. That was beautiful. It was like it kept constantly let her know, like, hey, I'm not really here, but I'm still fucking with you.
Yeah.
So deal with this shit, bitch.
And
that was beautiful. I'm like, oh, just fuck with her. I'm like, yeah, I like this part.
And it was really good how they talked about, or how they showed that she was having a breakdown. I feel really upset that it disappeared so quickly. I feel like, you know, you don't get over that kind of shit in like a day or 2 days.
Yeah.
You know, especially if it's affecting you that much. So, you know, she goes a little crazy. In this time, Trish also kidnaps Dr. Carl and kidnaps Malcolm.
Yeah.
I also find it weird, like, the knocking people out with a gun thing.
Well, like, my thing is that he got in a fucking bar fight and, like, hit against a wall. And he was pretty fucking fine getting pushed against a fucking wall, against a brick wall. But, like, she just, like, hits him over the head one time. Yeah. And he says, "Oh, no, I'm knocked out."
Well, maybe she hit him in the right spot? I don't know.
Right, well,
but she was also, like, really strung out and,
amped up. But, like, yeah, like, he got hit a couple of times from a couple of dudes. It's like, he wasn't even phased, like, getting pushed against the wall. But, like, she hit him one time. It's like, there was no, like, oh, what's happening? And then hit again.
Well, it was also a surprise. Like, when those guys came at him, he was ready. Versus, like, you know, he's sitting there like, oh, well, let's go ahead and see, is there a crowbar or something? Let's not go in there unarmed. And then all of a sudden, blam! And it's just like, well, like, fucking, I guess. I mean, if you catch somebody sleeping.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, look, hey, there's tons of people. There's tons of people, okay? Tons of bosses who came up and said, listen, I fought a lot of people on my way here, and I think I can take Tyson. And then you walk in the ring with Tyson, and he's just like, you going night-night.
And then they went night-night.
And you ain't out there for longer than 30 seconds, and your ass went night-night. So, listen, if you ain't ready, if they catch you, if they catch you
slipping,
yeah,
you're slipping.
Exactly. Time to go night-night. So, Dr. Carl is kidnapped by Trish with the intent of Trish being made into a superhero, which is another weird arc. She's just thinks she's not good enough, and thinks that Jessica's wasting her powers. So she's like, I deserve the powers, and then she almost dies. Yeah.
Like, it makes kind of weak. But at the same time, like, there was no other basis to it. Like, you saw no intention of that in the first season. Like, where, like, there was no hint that, like, oh, I need to fucking be you. Well, it was just like, my mom was a cunt.
There was a little bit. I mean, she took a red pill.
Yeah, but it was more so of initial, like, legitimately, like, okay, I'm about to get my fucking ass whooped. It wasn't like, this season made it seem like that was her whole intention all along, that she was jealous of Jessica because, like, she could always, like, help people. And, like, you never saw that in season 1. Like, season 1, you never saw her, like, I need to be stronger to help people. It was more so, I'm being a badass because I don't want to be a victim anymore, versus I don't, like, I'm not gonna, like, he's like, you saw her, like,
I can understand that. I can understand that.
And, like, Jessica asked her about the fucking bruises, and it's like, oh, okay, like, what happened? I was like, well, I will no longer be a victim. It wasn't, I'm going to help people, and I will be able to help people. So
is that the natural evolution of that idea, maybe? You know, she went from, like, not being a victim to wanting to prevent other people from being victims?
A little bit, but I feel like they should have, like, touched on it a little bit in season 1.
Sure. But this is also why I would agree with you that the secondary character arcs are weak. I don't think they developed enough. So the plot from there goes that Jessica's mom escapes after Carl dies. Then she kidnaps Jessica, and they go on this little family adventure where they save some people, and then they decide Jessica's ready to go the distance, and she's like, we'll run to Canada. And her mom kind of gives up, and she's ready to turn herself in, and then they end up on this Ferris wheel, and for some reason, out of nowhere, Trish appears and shoots the mom.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen in that order. The mom gets shot, then Trish appears. And it's just like, it's really crazy because it's just like, why did Trish do that? Why did that have to happen?
Like, Trish felt like she had to protect fucking Jessica. Well, I think I'm like, how did she know what this was?
Yeah, it was a problem with me. And then I also had the problem of, like, well, I agree with Jessica Jones's line. It didn't have to be you.
Yeah.
Because Trish says, like, you know, Trish is like, she's, you know, it had to be done, but she's like, it didn't have to be you that did it.
Exactly. Like,
and, you know, I
understand the struggle, like, having, like, cunt family members.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's like, I don't want one of my friends to take out one of my cunt family members.
Yep.
If somebody else fucking punch my fucking family members, that'd be one thing. But, like, if I fucking, like, if you punch, like, one of my fucking cousins, they're being a cunt. Like, why the fuck did you punch my fucking cousin?
Yeah. I get you. Bro? Yeah.
And, like, that's how I felt. It was like,
it's very...
somebody else should have punched my cousin.
Exactly.
Like, not somebody I called my homie should have punched my cousin.
Exactly, yeah. Alright, so... I was ultimately really upset that it didn't connect back to the MCU in any kind of way, any kind of meaningful way. No mention of other people with powers. Oddly enough, Alyssa and Jessica refer to themselves as the two most powerful women in the world.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, don't you forget Miss Marvel is this?
But technically in the MCU, Miss Marvel doesn't show up yet.
She doesn't yet, but I mean, she's about to.
So, like, technically, like, I guess the way they're gonna work it is, like, she hasn't popped out yet. Like, you know what? I've seen some badass women. I'm gonna show out and stun on these bitches.
Pepper Potts.
Pepper Potts is some classic bitch.
And Pepper Potts got powers in her last, you know, in Iron Man 3.
But nobody knows about that. That was like off in fucking Japan, so nobody in America is really like, that was some secret. Yeah, we know. I know. There's some secret covert shit, so like nobody I know in the outside world knows about, like, Pepper Potts can body motherfuckers on a fucking dime. Okay.
So we are well past our limit for a review. So.
You have anything else to say?
No. What do you rate it?
I rate it. You know what? I'm going with like a solid 6.
Solid 6 out of 10.
Solid 6 out of 10.
Woo. Okay, this is a tough one for me. I'm a fan of Jessica Jones. I liked this season mostly, but I give it a 7 out of 10. With room for improvement. There were some very good lines. But that's our time.
Yeah.
Next time on Nerds in the Dark. See ya.
Hey, this is the end slate. This is the part where I'm supposed to ask you to subscribe, but instead I'm just going to let you watch some videos because I'm not the boss here. See if you like us, see what happens, who knows?
I'm going to the next spot. I'm going whether you like it or not. I'm traveling.
I'm not done looting. I'm not done.
You're done. You're done. You're done.
Whatever. Kick all these motherfuckers' asses. Can I ride on this shit?
I want Yoshi. Ah.
Oh, fuck.
Motherfucker took my Yoshi.